Welcome everybody out to Seattle. I'm grateful that all of you have taken the time to come out here. We tried to put something together that we're going to have a really fun time for 2 days. I'm Ken. Some of you probably know me as a lot of different faces on Facebook. I usually don't show my face, but this is me. We're going to have a killer time. We got some great stuff lined up. And I've got to say, me and Chris have been working on some things. The people that aren't here today are missing out. We've got a great lineup. So to kick us off, part of the schedule today, we're going to take some breaks in between speakers. Lunch, you're free to go wherever you want. Just want to make it clear, lunch is not coming in here. It's not being provided. But just, I want you to take the time to network with people. Take a look at name tags. Start putting names to faces. I think anybody in this room is open to talk and discuss. Most of us have been in the merch world for a while. I think a good portion have some pretty good accounts going. Some of you that are new in the merch world, reach out to those people. This is the perfect opportunity. You're no longer hiding behind the whims of Facebook or Messenger. Shake some hands, learn some tricks, learn some secrets, and learn how to build your account. So anyway, why don't I get us started? And I guess one of the things I'll do is show you who Ken is. Ken is a guy from Alberta that now has kind of been transported down to the States. I come from a little town called Hanna. Anybody heard of Hanna? You have. You're from Canada then. What's good about Hanna? Huh? The corn. The corn? There's a goose on there. I come from Hanna, Alberta. It's a little town in the middle of nowhere in the prairies, about 2,500 people. Our claim to fame is Nickelback. I don't care how many of you hate them. They're buddies of mine. I grew up with them, and the little town, that's where I came from. And my background is actually hazardous waste. I got into the oil field of Alberta. And for about 14 or 15 years, I managed in the oil field. If you've heard of the oil sands, the diamond mines up in the Northwest Territories, things like that, I became a haz waste expert. And by some strange means, I ended up in Las Vegas. Anybody been to Vegas? Who wants to go there after this conference? After the oil field, I kind of got tired of that business, and somebody said, "You want to move to Vegas?" I said, "No, not really, but I'll take a look." I ended up buying a sign business there, and I still have a sign business in Las Vegas. And my expertise is working with small business on the street, trying to get their product out to people, working with them, doing everything from signs and vinyl and digital print, T-shirts, business cards. And the other thing I got into was decorative window tint. So I can actually mimic stained glass on the front of a window by using different colors of window tint. That's my background. That's where I learned about design. It's where I learned about all these neat little programs. A lot of interesting principles that I've been able to adapt into my business. Then, September 2015 came. What was significant about 2015 of September? Merch. I'll give you a little background on my merch. I signed up right away. I listed a couple of shirts, and to my dismay, my shirts didn't fit the template. Anybody had that problem? My shirt designs were 1 pixel off. I sent a half a dozen emails to merch to tell them how bad their program was. How messed up their program was. I had always just done the Teespring thing where you drag and make your own size. So anyway, I almost walked away from it. I said, this is crazy. This interface is awful. I can't get these things to upload. My designs are right. Don't tell me they're wrong. A couple of weeks later, I finally got an email back. They said, check your dimensions. I checked my dimensions. I said, you got to be kidding me. 1 pixel? So I changed the pixel. My shirt design went up. So from there, I kind of left it. I said, forget about merch. We'll see what happens. I didn't really understand what it was. Then I got a check. I get a deposit for about $8 in my bank account in December. And I'm trying to figure out where this deposit came from. It came from Amazon. I said, this is interesting. So I put a couple of more shirts up. I went back to it. I get another deposit, I think, for $12 or $20. I'm like, wow, I got a couple of more dollars. So I put a few more designs up. Whose cha-ching went off? We want to hear that throughout this audience today. So anyway, I see $20, so I put a few more up. And then I hit $100. I'm thinking, wow, this is kind of interesting. Now it's got my attention, so I put a few more up. I think by July of 2016, I'd hit about $4,000. And I thought, why am I slugging signs in the heat of Vegas when I can be sitting in front of my computer putting up designs in the air conditioning? So that is my oh my. So why are we here today? This is my conference, by the way. This isn't Chris's. Do you see Chris here today? Chris has left the building, okay? And he knows that. I kicked him out today. I kicked him out this morning. But really, he's over speaking at another conference. But we've worked hard at this. We haven't really put this out, as you've noticed, in a big promotion. We haven't from day one said, hey, come to this conference in the big groups. I think we put it up in some of the smaller groups. And the reason is we wanted the caliber of people at this conference that we have here today. I think if you look around this room, there's probably tens of thousands of tier in here. And the expertise that's been gained, all of us are kind of newbies to merch. Everything is changing, everything is moving forward. All of us can learn something from each other. So why are we here? There's a right way and a wrong way to do this. I'm going to keep wiping because I'm from Vegas and it is humid in here. There's a right way and a wrong way. When I started off, I thought I was on the right way. How many of you knew that me and Chris didn't really see eye to eye at the beginning? There's Neil in the back. You were too, though. What's that? I'm bigger than him. What's funny is that's almost, when you look in the online community, it's really kind of childish. My wife sits there and says, what happened at junior high today? We used to fight. The two of us used to fight. And why I'm bringing this up is this is the whole reason that we're sitting in this room today, is because the two of us used to bicker at each other. Now there's a shirt up there. Anybody ever see that shirt before? No, but I'm copying it. Neil's putting his hand. I made that shirt for Chris as kind of a stab in the back. Would you believe that? We used to jostle. He used to post something and I'd reply and he'd delete it and then I look like an idiot. So I'd delete my comment and I'd put up a new one and he'd make one and he'd delete it. Eventually I put up this shirt because he always talked about people stabbing in the back. I said, here, let's make it easier so they got a target to shoot at. That's our relationship. You know what? That was the wrong way. There came a time where I said this. I think it was, last October, Neil? A year ago? I sent a message to Chris and I said, you know what? I don't think we see eye to eye on stuff. And we didn't. But you know what? Let's reach across the table and figure out who each one of us is. And each of us did things a little bit different. And you know what? Chris on the online world right now is probably my best friend. Because he knows who Ken is, and I know who Chris is. And I think we've got a lot to share when it comes to merch. We saw some value in each other that we could help not only ourselves, but help out people like you. And it's kind of changed my perspective to what I do as a merch person going forward. And I know I've gotten a lot of messages from people here, probably a lot of friend requests. Some of them have been missed. I try to help out people as much as possible. I'm a little snarky. You know what? I never even thought of that. And we're both in the U.S., right? And I think both working on U.S. citizenship. Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing. How many are from Canada here? Oh, look at this. One day we'll take over the world. The whole reason we're sitting in this room today, and I'll be a little prideful, is me and Chris reached across the table and shook hands. And I hope that we've added some value. You're welcome. It has definitely benefited me in my merch world, and I think it's benefited some people in this room in their merch world. And I hope what we attain in these 2 days is going to help you attain some new heights in your merch world. That you're going to learn some things that are going to take you to new levels, levels that have helped both of us. I'll be straight up. I'll throw Chris under the bus right now. Chris doesn't sell a lot of t-shirts. But you know what? I think if he was interested in selling t-shirts like a lot of the people here, he could knock it out of the room. He does. You know what he enjoys though? Getting people together in a community like this and talking. That's his expertise. My expertise is a little bit on the other side. I'm not so much the marketer. Don't ask me to put together a conference. But if you need some help on trying to break a new field or break some ice, I'm more than willing to jump on the ice and let it break, because I love making mistakes and learning from them and growing from them. But take that principle, reach across the table. If there's somebody you don't really agree with, try and look at their point of view. Your business will grow exponentially. I guarantee it. And I've seen this in the hazardous waste industry and working with relationships. When you just didn't like working with that guy, reach across the table. It'll change your life. And reaching across the table to Chris changed my life, because merch is changing my life right now. There's my ride. That's what happens when you reach across the table. Anybody figure out where December is? No, it's not the end. That was last month. Yeah, Eclipse was fun. Right, Kim? Kim kicked my butt all over the map. I did well last December, but I killed it last month. But I was on a good trip. I was meeting my goals. Somewhere just before there, you see that little dip? That's where I reached across to Chris and shook some hands. And I'll attribute part of that graph to what I learned from him, and I give him credit for it. This December, I'll be straight up. My low-end goal is 50,000. 50,000. My high-end goal that I'm shooting for is 100,000 in the month. So I'm just trying to set some goals. Goals are there. Numbers can be attained. Right, Kim? Numbers can be attained. Who's getting a piece of what? You have a sense of humor. I should bring you up here and have a stand-up comedy. No, but really, this is what's attainable, and I think there's people that blow me out of the water. And we're talking about 2 t-shirts. And I come from a background in the sign industry and doing apparel with screen printers and wholesale and things like that. I talk to some of them, and they still to this day do not believe that you're doing this kind of thing with 2 t-shirts. It blows their mind. And then they say, can I sign up? Sure, it might take you a year to get in. Oh, well, I'll go back to screen printing. I said, you go back to screen printing. But anybody can do it. You're going to fall on your face a lot. I've fallen on my face a lot. I think everybody in this room has fallen on their face. I think if you've got who here is under the 1,000 tier?
I am, but I'm making progress.
Okay, so we got about a half under 1,000. Who's over 2,000? 4,000? Who's at 6 or 8,000? So okay, so we've got a pretty good. Yeah, Neil, 100,000. We've got a pretty good ride here. So we got about a 50-50 split of people under 1,000 and probably 50-50 over 1,000. Once you get over 1,000, the ride gets fun. It becomes a bit of a roller coaster going. And don't get discouraged, because some of us that have taken some time to get there, it's taken us 2 years to do it. And it's a lot of work. Where are we at here? Okay. So this conference is about expanding your horizons. Who came here thinking they're going to learn how to design merch shirts? Or how to upload? Or how to tear up. Josh in the back. Gee, we got some work to do. We've focused this. Was anybody at the California conference a month ago? The Jim Cockrum run thing? Okay, we've got a couple of people here. Was that fun? That was about merch though, wasn't it? That was for the beginner merch. What this is for the intermediate merch. We're not going to talk about how to upload. We're not going to talk about how you play with colors or do any of these fun little things within merch or how to deal with support. This is about taking your account and turning it into a business. This is about looking forward in the future, a year, a 2-year, a 3-year plan. Where are you going to be with your merch account in 2 years? Who could put up their hand and know? Have you got a business plan for that?
Starting one in 4 days.
All right. Who's got a business plan for their merch? Honestly, who has sat down and made a business plan? Sort of, kind of?
Well, like I have it all written out what I wanted to do. I just have to figure out the time frame.
Okay, but you've got to start on that. Do you look at merch as a business? Seriously, as a business or a hobby? Who's here for a hobby? I don't think anybody's put up their hand. A year and a half ago, it was a hobby. A year ago, it became a business for me. And I treat it like a business. And I'm looking at merch for how do we expand that business, okay? And me and Chris have talked about this for a couple of months, is how do we put together a session that we can bring people together to a function that will build your business. Not build merch, but build your business. And if you look at the timeline of people that we have here today, we've got a YouTube expert. We're going to hear from him next, an expert at building that audience. Shopify. Legal. Anybody want to hear from a lawyer? A real trademark lawyer? What else have we got? We've got setting up your descriptions, keywording, how to properly go after that system. We've got, of course, Neil. Neil's here. Anybody know what Neil has? Anybody use Merch Informer? That's the only kickback he gets at the conference, Merch Informer with Neil. But he's going to teach us some of the ins and outs of Merch Informer. And whatever anybody wants to say, Neil is brilliant at that stuff. I've learned a lot from him. He will teach you new ways to go after stuff. If you're not reading his blog, go read it. There's really 3 people, and I'll single them out, who I listen to. I listen to Chris, I listen to Neil, I listen to Michael Essick. And the rest I'll kind of read, but I look forward to when they make a post because I can learn things. And that's not to try and prop whatever they might be working with in their group or whatever book they might have. That's just saying these are 3 people I look at as having the knowledge to grow your business. So when we sit down here, we're going to tell you how to grow your business. It's going to be 2 days of growing your business. There's a couple of changes that have occurred in the schedule, however. Anybody want to hear the secret speakers? They'll blow your mind. I'm not allowed to say who they are. But the one secret speaker for today has had to move over to tomorrow. And so we're going to have a double whammy in the afternoon. There's going to be 2 Amazon secret speakers that will be talking to us, and then we'll have that in the afternoon and then followed up by Neil from Merch Informer. So just make note of that schedule. We've moved things kind of around a little bit to take care of that. And I hope you're taking notes individually. There's some great people here. If you've got questions for them, we do have this. It's a catch box. It's a throwable mic. If you've got a question, put up your hand. Throw it at you. Try not to throw it back at the person too hard, depending on who they are. Some people might deserve it. Take some notes. Everybody here that's at the conference. Oh. But hey. I just want to throw it. What's that? Here. Let's see. You're going to catch it? It should work. This way everybody can hear it. Everything. Do I need to buy you dinner tonight? Just talk into it. Yeah, I'll make sure that Chris puts it up.
Do we get compensation if they're short notice?
No, you don't, but you can throw it back at them. Turn this into a little beach ball, I guess. See, I don't care. Chris just gets the coolest toys. So that is the schedule. Anybody that's in the room today gets the replays, and we do have professional noticed, right? I want to thank you for that. You will get notes on the conference session as well. What's that?
Just they're not coming on Friday.
What? Everybody email her on Friday morning. The thing about it is the two secret speakers, here's the thing, there's not a lot we can say about them because we can't announce them publicly. We can't even tell you what they're talking about. I can't even tell you right now who they are. They will come in, and they will come in with a gusto. The notes, we can take notes, so realize that you can read the notes from what is said. I'm just saying whoever's not sitting in the room today is missing out, okay? That's how big this is. I would pay the money to fly here and be here just to listen to these two people. I kid you not. That's the up ramp I'm going to give it. What's that? No, but I'd imagine what it comes down to is the things they're going to say, they're not going to be saying on record on a live video. It's not going to be something that you can go post on your YouTube channel this afternoon and go for it. Yes?
It's also a policy of Amazon that their employees can't be public speakers
Yep.
unless they're like a VP or above level. so that's why there's a layer of obfuscation because of that
Yeah.
policy. But obviously they're fans of what's happening, so that's super awesome.
They are big fans of what's happening. And they're big fans of everybody that took the time to come sit in this room. And what's that? So anyway, with that, any questions for Ken? I'm not actually giving a big symposium on some kind of topic about merch. I'm here for 2 days. I'm here for your questions. I'm here to help out some of the other speakers. I may get pulled up to help out Chris, people like that. I'm sure you'll see lots of me. Go ahead, throw a Facebook friend invite to me. If I miss it, bug me again. I want to be your friend. I love the people that are in this room that took the time to be here, and I want to thank you for that. From the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate it. And I know Chris appreciates it as well. So who's got the phone? What is so important? I'm kidding. Now she's going to block me on Facebook. Anyway, going with that, there is meeting room high-speed internet. I'll give you that out. There's a passcode. As far as we know, it's lowercase merch 2017. Is it uppercase? Okay, it's uppercase. Uppercase merch 2017, and we should have meeting room high-speed internet for you that you can connect into. What's that? Yeah. And with that, any questions for Ken as I roll this out to some of the people that we've got lined up?
Do you enjoy long walks on the beach?
Not with you.
I gotta cancel my whole day.
I've already got somebody that wants to sleep in my room, right? Man. Jeez. Okay, all right, and we know what kind of crowd this is. Without any more delay then, I want to introduce our first speaker, Owen Video. And he's come on up here.